So after seeing the Lexi Hull contract, we were all in fear that Sophie Cunningham had got paid $1 million. I kind of knew Sophie Cunningham hadn't got paid $1 million because if Sophie Cunningham got paid $1 million, the Indiana Fever might have to legitimately, like, this is no word of a lie. If they paid Sophie Cunningham $1 million, to field a team, they would have to cut Caitlin Clark. Like, I don't think people understand how money works when we saw Lexi got paid. If they were to pay Sophie Cunningham $1 million, because of the way protected contracts have been protected and other stuff, they would have had to have waived Caitlin Clark because she is not fully protected, whereas Aaliyah Boston is. That being said, the Indiana Fever currently cannot afford to pay Aaliyah Boston her max contract extension. Yes, you see the way the New York Liberty have got 5 max contract players, or have got 4 max contract players. Same with the LA Sparks. Because of the money that the Indiana Fever are paying towards role players, and damn good ones, might I add, the Indiana Fever actually cannot afford to have more than 1 max contract player on their team. Like, there is a huge difference between some teams. And by the way, if you look at reserve free agency, there is a thing with Ileana Rupert, who's worth about $1 million in the open market. Because of reserve free agency, she has to play a certain amount of years to get away from reserve free agency, which means you can't test the open market. And because of that, the Golden State Valkyries have got her for $400K a year, or $450K a year. They have got Janelle Salon, who could be a future All-Star, for like $500K a year, as long as they have her reserve rights. And Portland Fire have, for 3 years of Louisa Geisel-Suter, got her for $350K, slightly above the minimum. These are players that in the open market, all 3 of them would have commanded close to $1 million. It is the power of reserve free agency. And the Indiana Fever have none. The Indiana Fever do not have a reserve free agents. So they're in an unfortunate situation. And it is why, it is why you have got here Sophie Cunningham at 665K. I don't think Sophie Cunningham is going to be a member of the Indiana Fever next year. I just don't think they can afford her. Like, this is a huge pay cut. She walked away from at least 100K. She don't walk away from more. She walked away from more. I fully believe that the Portland Fire would have offered her $1 million. Seeing what the money that this team has spare, and the players that this team are signing, and the fact they're trying to lose, I think they would have just given the keys to Sophie Cunningham. I think they gladly would have signed her for $1.2 million, given her the keys, let her have an all-star season, and it then becomes like a fun situation where it's like, oh, you know what? Fans might be happy to come and see Sophie Cunningham going out there and hooping. They might be happy to come down and see that, because we're going to suck, so we have to at least be fun. Like, the rumor is that Iana Martin is going back to Spain. She's not even coming over, their first round pick. And Carla Late is, and the reason with Iana Martin is going to be a stash player is because I think she has a long-term contract signed in Spain. So you kind of can't bring her over too early for that. Like you say, Jacite was the same. It's really hard to bring over a player who's playing the Spanish league. The thing with Jacite, there's a reason why she signed for Project B. But like Sophie, easily, like, seeing this number inexcusable, not giving her a 2-year deal. And do you want to know the scary thing is that it's actually not. There is a good chance, even if the Indiana Fever let Kelsey Mitchell walk, that they're not going to be able to afford to give Caitlin Clark her max extension next year. Like, unless Aaliyah Boston leaves money on the table, the Indiana Fever absolutely cannot afford to give Caitlin Clark her max extension next year. Regardless of the money, this is a good deal for Sophie Cunningham, and that is how much they kind of screwed up with some contracts. And like, the scary thing is that the Mo Billings contract in this market's not even a bad contract. It's just what the Indiana Fever did not get was a bunch of long-term buy-ins and people committed to buying in on cheap deals. Like, at the end of the day, it is this is a contract that I would love if she was on a 2-year deal and Lexi was on a 1-year deal. But obviously they've signed Lexi to a crazy long contract or to a crazy contract for 2 years. And it becomes really difficult to keep Sophie next year unless she's willing to take an even bigger pay cut. Unless she's willing to take an absolutely massive pay cut. And I don't know if she is. So, look, the Fever are in a really, really awkward situation money-wise because I don't think they can really afford anyone. I wish it wasn't as bleak, but they're coming into a situation where it might take till 2028 to put together a championship roster. Like it might take a while before they can put together a team that a lot of people would deem to be a championship level team. And look, it is what it is. It's just unfortunate sometimes that the way the league works, the Indiana is not a situation where people are going to be taking major pay cuts. Like, as much as Sophie Cunningham has taken a big pay cut, I believe she could have gotten $800K minimum elsewhere. As much as I believe she's taken a pay cut, this isn't like a Beck Allen situation where Beck Allen was a starter ahead of Sophie Cunningham for the Phoenix Mercury, and Beck Allen signed for $350K with the Liberty. The New York Liberty have a whole bunch of reserved contract players, so they're able to sign players that are worth 6, 7, 800K, like for $250K, whereas the Indiana Fever don't. And the fact is that the Indiana Fever probably are, like, I think if they've given Maisha Hines-Allen $500K, that is their very end of their it's the very, very end of their budget. If they've given $500K to Maisha Hines-Allen, and by the way, in this market, Maisha Hines-Allen at $500K is a decent deal. Like, I'll say, to be honest, good deal. A good deal, $500K for Maisha Hines-Allen. That being said, like, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what the Indiana Fever are going to do long term. I think that it's going to be really, really tough for the Indiana Fever to go out there and compete in the short term. In the long term, maybe. Just maybe. They'll be able to... The fact that they've got Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston can give them enough so that they can win, despite the fact that... despite the fact that... like, the New York Liberty might just assemble the Avengers till the end of time and the Indiana Fever don't. And to be honest, it's just one of those situations where it might be where you're just not winning. If you're not, then we saw the way the referees handed the Liberty to win a while ago. Like, if you're not the New York Liberty, if you're not the Las Vegas Aces, where you're getting paid money under the table, if you're not based in California, it might not even be possible because, like, the Indiana Fever might have drafted the best center, the best 24 or best 23-year-old center since Brittany Griner. I can say and that is if you consider A'ja Wilson a power forward. But the best year 3 center, and to be honest, she's the age of a year 2 player. She's younger than Paige. The best 23-year-old center since, like, Brittany Griner, and they drafted the best 23-year-old guard ever. And it still might not be enough to be able to build a team around them, with the way this new CBA works, and the way that the New York Liberty are just getting players to leave hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. So anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys.